Thank you for clicking on this video. This is unlike any of the videos I have made in the past, and I just wanted to try something different and new. So, money, right? That's what I'm talking about in this video. So, I first got into finance and money when I was like 14. I was completely obsessed with it, and I just loved it. I loved stocks, I loved crypto, I loved real estate. I loved all that, and I just consumed so much content over the years about that type of stuff. And I've learned a lot over the years, and I'm not saying I know it all. I'm not some type of guru. I don't claim to know everything, but that's just my quick background. I love side hustles, all that type of stuff, real estate, crypto, stocks, I love all that stuff. I'm big on that. I just turned 20 last month. I graduated high school 2 years ago, back in 23. And here's just some things that I've noticed. Like I've noticed that money is kind of pretty much everything, right? It I have some bullet points written down over here. So this is my first video, so don't judge me. I did have to write some of this stuff down because I wanted it to be somewhat structured and I just didn't want to ramble on. Money dictates how long you live. And now let me explain why. Now, the number one thing is, I'm not saying money is absolutely everything, right? Like, your health is your number one asset. If anything, health is worth more than money. So are friends and family, right? I love my friends and my family. I couldn't do a lot without them. I also love my health. I couldn't do anything without my health, right? If I didn't have my health, I wouldn't be here right now. And that's like one of the most important things in life is having good health. But what buys good health, right? Good, nutritious food. What buys good, nutritious food, you may ask? Money, right? And not just a little bit of money, a little bit more money, right? Because this is organic, fresh produce that we're talking about. We're not talking about your McDonald's hamburger or your Burger King Whopper here. Those items are cheap. Well, not cheap, but you know, they do add up. But what I'm trying to say is if you want good food, it's going to cost you time and money, right? Like the closest Whole Foods to me is about 30 minutes away, right? So that's going to cost me time to go out of my way to go find that grocery store, right? To go to that grocery store, then to pick out all that fresh produce, make sure I have all the right ingredients. That takes time. Then I come home, guess what? Now I have to cook the food because I decided I wanted to be healthy and I wanted to have fresh produce and fresh ingredients and make something that's actually nutritious and good for my body. And that takes time and money. And a lot of people don't have either of those nowadays, right? So that's just one thing. One thing that I've noticed is you got to have money to have good nutritious food. And there are food deserts all across America. Like some neighborhoods don't even have good grocery stores. They just have like a Dollar General, and that's where everyone gets their food from. But guess what? Dollar General does not have good food. Dollar General has junk. It's just all junk food. I'm not sure if they have eggs or milk or any of that stuff, but I'm pretty sure even if they do, it's probably not organic or good eggs, good quality eggs. It's probably just like cheap stuff, you know? So I'm not saying there's something wrong with that, but there is. But, you know, if you buy that stuff, I'm not judging you. You know, you're working with what you got. Okay, so my next point, let's move on to my next point. My next point is money dictates where you live and where your kids grow up, right? So if you don't have money, you can't live in a nice neighborhood. You can't live in a nice neighborhood, guess what? You're in a bad neighborhood, and that affects your mental health. You come home from a 8, 10, 12-hour shift, and all you see around you is just abandoned houses and trash everywhere and graffiti. And some graffiti looks good, don't get me wrong, but you know what I'm saying, like just a completely trashed neighborhood, right? Like who wants to come home to that after you get off of work, you're already tired, you're aching, and you just see trash and garbage and your roads are messed up, there's a bunch of potholes everywhere. Like it just makes you feel some type of way, right? Like I don't know. Like your home is supposed to be your sanctuary. It's supposed to be where you can relax and unwind, feel safe, and just feel good. But if you don't have money, you're forced to stay in a bad neighborhood. And now, if you add kids into that equation, now your kids are growing up in that area, and now your kids have to deal with all that stuff. Maybe there's gangs around. Maybe they're recruiting. I don't know. You know, it's just all this stuff you have to think about. And also, poor neighborhoods usually result in bad school districts. So now your child's getting a poor education, you know? So those are all just some things you need to take into account. Is money isn't everything, but it really kind of is the deeper you look at it, right? Now moving on to my fourth point. Or no, third point. Moving on to my third point. Money dictates your freedom basically, right? If you don't have money, you have to go to work. You can't do whatever you want to do. You got to go to work. You got to listen to your boss. You got to do whatever you got to do, right? And that's not being free. That's being at work. That's being essentially a wage slave, right? And what is it, like 40% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck? So if you really look at it, they're basically wage slaves, right? Now, let me give you guys a quick. I'm kind of dumb, so I think this is an analogy, but I'm not 100% sure. But right, so say like slaves, right? Slaves are given food, water, and a place to sleep, and they have to work, right? They have to work. Now, if you're living paycheck to paycheck, you're basically a slave, if not even worse, right? Because now you're going to work, you're getting money, and then all that money is just going into your food, housing, and maybe your health insurance or whatever. It's just all going into that. So you're basically the same thing as a slave when you're living paycheck to paycheck. Now, some people have to do it because they have kids and they have bills they have to pay, and they just can't make ends meet, and that's completely understandable. But it's just crazy, It's like money dictates your freedom. So if you don't have money, yeah, basically you can't really do much. I mean, you can, but now you're working more. You get off work, you're tired. You don't have the energy to really do the things that you wanted to do or that you want to do. So it's kind of taking away from your life. And it's also taking away from your kids' childhood if you have kids. Like, I wouldn't want to be stuck at work if I have kids. I wouldn't want to be like, well, yeah, sorry, Timmy, I can't go to your baseball game. I got to go work some more. I can't afford insurance this month. Like, I wouldn't ever want to be like that. I would want to be there for my kid and not miss those moments. But guess what? That costs money. Even the free things in life cost money. It's called opportunity cost, right? That time that you spent at little Timmy's baseball game could have been spent at work, Not saying that you should go to work instead of going to your kid's baseball game, but I'm just saying, everything has a cost to it if you really look at it, right? Like that 30-minute commute you have to your job, that costs money, costs your time. It's opportunity cost. Things that seem like they're free aren't really free. But I just want to reiterate this. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. It's like the first time I posted a video like this, and I just want to try something new out. So thank you guys. If you guys like this, hit that like button. If you guys have any ideas or questions, leave them down in the comments below. And thank you guys for watching.